Hello and welcome to Conversations for the Soul, one good sip at a time with Dr. Angie and Yashica B, the Motivator. This is the show where real women will discuss and dive into relevant conversations. They will be savory, some sweet, and definitely some that may be very tasty conversations. We are here this evening and we have a very special treat this evening. We have a panel of authors who have just released their book. In that book, we will get into a little bit more as we move forward, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask you to do a quick favor, and that is to like, share, and subscribe. And then also, I would like to really invite you to join in the conversation. Please feel free to use our chat box to let us know where you are tuning in from, as well as to join in the conversation. We ask for your feedback, your input, and any questions that you may have. We really thrive on conversations here, so we ask that you join in. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. At this time, I want to just give Yashica B, the Motivator, an opportunity to say hello to you, and then we'll go ahead and dive right in. This is Conversations for the Soul. Unmute.
Oh my gosh. Okay, for whatever reason, for a minute. So hey, we know we're live, right? So I couldn't unmute. It was like, no. The mute button said, no, I'm not doing it right now. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is Dr. Angie and Yashica B, the Eclectic Mindset Motivator, and we're so excited about bringing you this special episode tonight, where we are introducing 6 phenomenal women who came together under the leadership of Jacqueline Pitt, who had a vision or a charge from the Lord to say, hey, you know what, you need to do something great. And with that being great, she created an anthology of women who talked about mothers and daughters. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you will get an opportunity to listen to these ladies tell their stories and to see why did this come apart, this come to become what it is. And yours truly, Yashica B, is also the 7th author on this 7-author anthology that says Mothers and Daughters, their stories, their way, only they can tell it. So again, like, share, subscribe, introduce this platform to people. We are getting ready to dive in deep to find out more about this book. Thank you very much. And so with that being said, we have Jacqueline Pitt, who was the orchestrator of this anthology, God must have came down himself and said, hey, Jackie, we got something for you to do. And she answered the call. So, hey, who can, if he himself charges you to do something, who can possibly say no? And then when it is what it is. We are hands off and of Dr. all of the above, Jackie Pitt. Tell us a little bit about you and your charge.
Well, both Yashica and Dr. Gray for having us on. And I'm so very grateful because, as Yashica said, God gave me the charge. I was in the middle of, or probably almost complete with my own book. And God said, write a book. I started this group, Mothers and Daughters, probably about almost a year ago. 6 months I created the group because the plan was to actually do a Mothers and Daughters conference. And when the pandemic hit, like it hit all of us, I had to make a shift. And the shift was to do a group on Facebook. So I did the group on Facebook, and in the process of just doing things to, make it interesting and, get people engaged, I was led to start Feature Friday. From Feature Friday, it was just choosing ladies to tell part of their story. And that's what led to, and God gave me the vision for the book. So I did exactly what I needed to do. I say, hands up, I surrender. put my book down, my plans down, and I picked up the plans of God, and look what it has done. So I'm so delighted to be here as the mother of. I am a mother of daughters. I'm a mother of 4 beautiful daughters. One daughter that is by marriage. The other 3 are by my husband and I, Robert's union. And I'm a nurse. What else? Entrepreneur, business owner, or anything you can think of. I am doing it and keeping busy and going about the business of the kingdom. Thank you again.
Wow. I like that. The business of the kingdom. We also have a Banks, Alicia P. Harris, Carolyn Allen, Charlotte Kauser, Anita, and myself. So again, I am so grateful that you ladies are coming above so we can literally put one at a time so they can tell a little bit about themselves. So Dr. Angie, if you don't mind bringing a bow, who are you bringing first?
Okay, what I want to do real quick is just say hello to all who have joined us thus far. We have Miss S from Hi. She says hi from Norway. We have Dr. John Gray. He says, hello, ladies. Donald Lee says the Lee family is watching and can't wait to support. Yvonne Murray says, hello, ladies. So awesome. Thank you all for joining us. I do want to just take a quick moment out to thank Miss Jackie Pitt for allowing the kingdom to lead her and guide her into seeing her vision come to fruition. So I thank you for joining us. And Yashica B, the motivator, has suggested that we go to Miss Abo. So here we are, Miss Abo.
Good
Hey,
evening.
beautiful.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. So tell me, introduce yourself to the audience. And again, you also received a call and you said yes to the charge. So talk about that a little bit. And I'm gonna get on out of here because people they've heard enough from me. I want to hear about you.
Absolutely. Hello everyone. My name is Aboy Banks. Currently I reside in Columbia, South Carolina. My husband and I with 2 of our children. I am a mother of 4 beautiful daughters, also 4 bonus boys. Yeah, just like Jackie said, when I received the phone call from her, I knew then that it was my time to share a part of me that would potentially help others. There's a lot that I've been through. At 41 years old, I'm not saying that I've seen it all, but I tell you what, I've definitely seen my fair share to have an input on how I relate to my girls with the experiences that I've had, and I'm grateful. I'm definitely humbled. I don't know. I'm full. Who would have thought? I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that I would have been chosen. But here I am, and I'm excited. I'm definitely. I'm just open. I'm open for whatever God has.
That's amazing. I love that. I'm open for whatever God has. So, ladies and gentlemen, type that in the chat. Open for whatever God has. I mean, what else is there, right? So I say thank you. And I said a bow because I'm country, Alabama. Say your name one more time.
A boy.
A boy. Okay. Hey, you know how
It's okay. It's okay.
I can chew up some names. I can chew up some names. Look, I change a whole name in a minute.
It's okay.
All right.
It's been changed. I've heard so many variations of it. At least you didn't say a boo. I was just talking to my mom on the phone. I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of the doctor's office automated system calling. It's like a boo has a doctor's appointment. I'm like, I'm not the monkey from Aladdin.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you so much. Beautiful.
Look, on that note,
love it.
I need to introduce the next person.
All right, let's bring on Alicia. Let's see what Alicia got to say today. Come on, Alicia. Come on down. You're the next one.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Harris. I currently reside in Columbia, South Carolina. However, I am from New Jersey. Been here now about 11 years and really enjoy this South Carolina weather. For me, I am currently in school pursuing my doctorate degree. And so, as if I did not have enough writing to do, when Jackie called me and asked me to be a part of this project, I was just like, oh my God, yes. I have told my story on many of platforms to many of listeners, but I've never told the complete story and have never seen it in writing. And so it was just a blessing for someone to think that much of me and what I had to add to the project. And so I'm very, very grateful for that. And I know that God does things in his own timing. And so what I mean by that, I too have a book inside of me in my heart. And I knew right now was not the timing, but God had other plans in mind. And so I'm just thankful that I was obedient and answered the call. So I'm really, really glad to be here.
All right, Alicia, I'm grateful that you answered the call as well, because just being among you all has changed my perspective of a lot of things. I have seen, it's just amazing how God does things. He puts people together, and you from all different walks of life. I know just by being in the group, even though I'm not as active, but it's a blessing to be in the group, because I have learned you all's energy. Surround yourself with only quality people. And I thank God that he has surrounded me with quality people. And that is definitely in this group of mothers and daughters. Thank you for the call. But you and Dr. Angie, y'all probably chatted up a little bit later, because I think you guys have something in common, like a place that you all are from. So with that being said, let us introduce Miss Carolyn. Where are you, Miss Carolyn?
Okay, real quick, I just want to throw a couple of other statements out there. We have Miss Pele Humpkins saying, hello, beautiful ladies. Mr. Davis saying, good evening, all. And we have a request that we continue to ask you all the time: like, share, and subscribe. And then we have Mr. Donald Lee, and he says, open for what God has. And that's what our lovely lady said to us. So we wanted to just highlight that. Miss Jacqueline Pitt says hello to each of you. And Pele says, oh my gosh, I can't even get all of that out. She got a lot of names.
I think that's something in her native language. But listen, Dr. Angie, Alicia was just on, but she said New Jersey. Did that not strike you as, was that not familiar?
It was familiar. I'm not sure what part of New Jersey, but I heard her loud and clear. Trust me, I'll be coming back around the mountain to that.
Yes. Let's get Miss Carolyn on so we can get these ladies introduced and bring them all up so we can find out a little bit more about that. Where you from?
All right.
So Miss Carolyn.
Hello, ladies.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Gray, for having me, and thank you, Yashica B, for having us on. I am Carolyn Allen from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I'm excited about this project that we are doing with mothers and daughters. I am a mother of three. I am an author now, so I'm grateful to Miss Jackie Pitt for that. And also, I have a group called Women of Conversation that God had given me to step out on that. And it's speaking to women that are broken, who are broken. And we use the word to where women have been told so many things that they're not for so many years. So we're speaking to that part with the word, letting them know what God says they are. So I am also a graduate of Carolina Bible College here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, biblical study with also a minor in biblical counseling. So when Jackie asked me about this project, as well as everybody else, I thought, I'm going to be a part of it. And then when the months started coming in and they started saying, well, you got to have this in, you got to have that in such a time. And I thought, I know I said, yeah, but good Lord, God, where am I going to get the time to do this and that? And so as I sat back and pondered, and then God began to give me the whatever he wanted me to have for this book. And so I am in there in reference to Rise and Joy. And so I'm so glad to Jackie Pitt, who have asked me to come on board along with these beautiful women that I have gotten to know as well. So I thank you all so much for being here on today.
All right. I'm so grateful that you made the time, because wow. Whoa, you had something on you and you still made the time. So with that being said, I know last month was Women's International Women's Month. You know, it was our month in March, and the charge was for women. And I see that you were given a charge, and you just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. So I'm grateful and thankful that you did that. Thank you very much. All righty. So let's move on. Let's see, Dr. Angie, you coming back on before we move on to Charlotte?
All right. So I heard some things in common with her as well. So we got a lot of stuff in common that we'll talk about in just a little bit. So go ahead. Yashica, be introduced to the next person.
Okay, we're going to move to Charlotte. Let's see what Charlotte say about the answer call.
Hello, my name is Charlotte. Hi.
It's refreshing. There she go. There you go. Hey, beautiful.
Hello, I want to thank you, Yashica, and Dr. Angie for having us here today. My name is Charlotte Kauser. By the way of a military brat, wife, born in the UK, South Ruislip, England. Lived a pretty much sheltered life. I've been doing Jackie Pitt for over 30 years. Her and Carolyn Allen were both stationed in Germany together, Bamberg. When I joined the group, I believe Jackie probably had about 15 to 20 members. And the group took off, mothers and daughters. It took off. Jackie had a vision. She contacted me and she said, would you like to share in this vision with me and write a chapter in a book? I was honored to do so because, as we know, we all have a story. My chapter is Silver Spoon. I went from a silver spoon to a journey that I was not expecting to go through. At that time, that journey taught me how to be more faithful, grateful, and for the love of God, just believe, because anything is possible. You're never too good, or never put that spoon in your mouth and think that you cannot take that journey. I own my own nonprofit organization called Sloan Selective Services. I am the CEO and the president. It's Seniors Helping Seniors. So again, and I also started school, seeking my degree in sociology. So it's never too late to pick yourself up and go through a journey and arrive where we are now. I'm proud to be one of the authors in Mothers and Daughters. Thank you.
All right. Wow. I mean, I didn't even know all this, but thank you all for this introduction. Is awesome because I'm learning more and more about how it just overwhelms me because of the fact that I'm connected to y'all. So I'm excited. You know, hey, I feel like, you know, you got greatness and I've touched you, and you don't have any choice but to be great too. Thank you. So let's go ahead, Dr. Angie, and we'll introduce Onita once we finish.
All right. Such a pleasure to have met you, Miss Charlotte. I am seeing and hearing some wonderful things from each of you. And I have to say, I am feeling proud to be just on the same platform with so many beautiful young ladies.
I know, because it's like, you know, we talk to people, we know people, but then to hear them talk about, it just takes you to a different level, especially on today being this Sunday. It's the messages all seem to have lined up, right? So let us get Anita on so we can hear from Anita. Anita, where are you? Let's talk about your answer to the call.
Good evening. Thank you, Yashica and Dr. Angie, for having us on today. I'm very excited about it. And I know Miss Jackie because our daughters both played for the same high school volleyball, and I called her my volleyball mom. And when she asked me last summer if I would be willing to be a part of this project, I immediately said yes. And just a little history, I asked for a typewriter when I was 12. That was what I wanted for Christmas. And I used to write little short stories for my brothers, and I would read it to them. So I always knew that I would write something. And like a few other ladies said, they put down their project to be a part of this project. It's the same. I knew I was going to write a book, but I didn't know it was going to be this one first. So I'm grateful that Ms. Jackie asked me to be a part of it. And the name of my title is Redemption. And I speak about my divorce process. I'm a mother of 2 daughters, 16 and 17. And I'm here in Columbia, South Carolina, like a few of the other ladies are, but just showing a lot of the women and men, if they read it, that you can choose to be better instead of bitter. It's a choice. And even though it's a harder choice to make, it's the better choice in the end. So I'm excited to be a part of this project, and I'm excited to be with you ladies this evening.
All right. I'm writing that down. Better instead of bitter. I got that. So you guys, for the ones that are in the chat box, you might want to write that down or type that in. Better instead of bitter. And we heard that from Anita first. So, hey, thank you, Anita, for that one, because we needed that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All the ladies back in.
Is that everyone?
Yes, and with the exception of me, but we don't need it in my introduction.
Yes, we do. We need to hear about your chapter. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my. You guys, from conversation or so, I'm Yashica B, the eclectic mindset motivator who has been through the hills, the valleys, the highs, the lows, the ins, the outs, the dark valleys, the high, whatever it may take. And I too have a daughter. I have 1 daughter, 2 sons. And I also wrote a chapter in this book. And I also answered the call to Jacqueline Pitt. But I was just kind of like a little bit curious. I noticed that everybody had the same type of theme, whereas we were working on other stuff. But when Jackie decided to say something, we all stopped. So I want to know what kind of hold Miss Jackie got on people. I don't know. Like, did she crack the whip or what? However, I'm grateful that we all answered the call. And I'm grateful that I answered the call to also tell the story of my daughter and to lead me into something else, because I too thought that there was another book in me, which for years I thought it was Sip Slow was going to be the first book. However, this chapter came first, and then the answer to the chapter came second. So I'm very, very grateful that Jackie answered her call when God placed it on her heart to start something, to do something different, which even moved her from something that she thought that she was supposed to put out first. So when his timing is, and you actually answer the call, it's something, just something comes out of that. It's more amazing than anything that we could actually ever dream of. So I'm grateful to everybody. I'm grateful to myself for saying yes, because I was a little bit skeptical and nervous about it, because I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to write about? Because I got so much stuff. However, I'm grateful that I did. And thank you again, all of you, for stepping on our platform. Thank you again for answering the call, and let us dive into some of the things, because I have some questions to ask, and so does Dr. Angie.
All right, that's excellent. Thank you so much, Yashica B. And as you all know, I'm just going to do a quick reset. This is Conversations for the Soul. So we are about to dive into some nice conversations with regard to the book that is just recently released. It is available on Amazon.com, and it is entitled Mothers and Daughters, Their Story, Their Way, That Only They Can Tell. Did I say that correctly? If not, please correct me.
Yes.
Okay.
Their way that only they can tell.
All right. That's good stuff. So I want to just say to each one of you, what a beautiful, beautiful thing you did by answering the call, by setting aside the project that you were working on to bring this project to life. And that is an amazing thing. And I know that so many people are going to be blessed because of it. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and bring back on Miss Jackie Pitts. She is the person who's had this vision. And I just want to ask you the same question that Yashica just posed to you, Miss Pitt, I'm sorry. And she said, what is it that you have on these people?
It's like some magic dust or something, Jackie. It's got to be something. Everybody stop. Look, you should stop what you're doing, because Jackie said, hey. We're like, okay. Jack, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself. There you go. Again, there you go.
So, thank you for that question, Dr. Gray. Yashica, I don't know, ladies, if it was an E.F. Hutton moment, but what I can say is this. I know it was the voice of God speaking through me. So that's what I believe. I believe like you heard my voice, but you heard his plan. So
wow.
when you heard it, you knew it. And the word tells us when my sheep knows my voice. So I believe that's what it was. So I can't take credit for pausing anything. I can take credit for obedience, but other than that, I can't take credit for anything outside of that. And I know for sure. But one thing I can say, I'm grateful to these ladies, Yashica and every lady on the call, because I believe that they believed enough in the vision to stop what they were doing in order to buy into my vision. Because a vision, as I told someone before, a vision involves other people. Anything outside of that is a personal goal.
Wow.
And when you have a vision, it involves other people, and it doesn't involve a deterrent. It involves a prospering and a benefit to other people.
Uh-oh.
Wow. That was a mouthful.
Yes. Yeah. I'll let you handle that one, Dr. Angie.
Well, I can relate to that because I know that one of the things that as I have matured and become a seasoned young lady, I will say that I have learned that it is not about me. None of this is about me, and it's not even about you. It's about the people who are watching us, the people who are looking to us, the people who are wondering how it is that they have done the things that they have done. And we must live our life in a way that is pleasing to God, but also one that can be seen by others and felt by others. And this book is just one wonderful example of that. So thank you so much for allowing the Lord to use you in this way, Ms. Pitt. And to each and every one of the other authors, you have done yourself well. You've made God proud. And I can tell you this right now, it is a blessing to others, and someone is going to find strength and hope and really understand that they are not alone as a mother. One of the things that I can tell you is that I am also a mother of 4 beautiful young ladies. And as I am walking down this path of parenthood, it's not always easy. Sometimes it can be quite difficult. We have to deal with things that we didn't see coming. And we often wonder, I know I often wonder, how come my mom didn't tell me this? So I'm going to turn that over to, let's see, I'm going to pick Miss Abo. How about if you tell us about your story?
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you for choosing me to go first. So a little bit about my story. I became a mother at the tender age of 14. So essentially, I was a child raising a child. It is still hard. What I have learned is that it was definitely trial and error. It gave me more respect for my mom because I started to see things that she would say. And I saw them manifesting in my own life. I can remember being young and just being punished for things that I know I done wrong, and it wasn't that she was being mean. It was because she wanted to show me a different way before the world had a chance to show me. Wow. Let's see. By the time I was 17, I had my second child. By the time I was
Okay, where did
Yeah, Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. She will rejoin us. But in the meantime, if anyone else wants to step up to that particular question, please jump in right now. Unmute yourself and come on in. Okay, now I have to become teacher. I'm going to say, Miss Anita, jump right in.
Could you repeat the question, please?
The question is, if you could just speak to the story that you bring to the table. What is it that you bring to the table with regard to this book as a mother? What is your story that you believe will help and bless someone else?
So, like I said, my chapter title is called Redemption, and I'm speaking about my divorce process as a mother of 2 daughters, and just to give back to other women to show them this is not the end of the world. This is just a part of your journey that you had to pause or you had to stop, and you need to reroute and go forward. So don't get stuck in the divorce, because it is like mourning. It's like a death, but it's a death of your marriage. But you can still live again, and it can be a great life. You don't have to choose to be bitter. You can be better by the choices that you make. And me growing into who I am as a mother, showing my daughters, hey, you don't have to sit here and feel ashamed or feel like you can't be redeemed, because we know who our Redeemer is, right? So
Absolutely.
he's able to redeem everything we thought that we lost. And that's exactly what I talk about in my chapter, that it's better this time around than it was before.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to ask everyone to drop themselves onto mute until it is your time to speak, because we're picking up some feedback. If everyone could just put themselves on mute. All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And it was awesome information there, Miss Simpson. I love the fact that you are bringing to the table the idea that divorce doesn't have to mean the end, because it does not. I have been there, done that. And I have to say, I have grown and I've moved forward, and life is just as good today as it was yesterday. So thank God for that. So with that being said, anyone else want to take this opportunity to jump in with regard to how your story is able to impact those who are reading the book? Is there anyone here who wants to respond to that? Miss Alicia, unmute yourself and jump right in.
Hey, so the title of my chapter is Unmasking to Empower. And so I talk about a time in my life that was uh, pretty dark, pretty tumultuous. But at the same time, I became a master at wearing masks. I appeared to everyone as if I had it all together. I was intelligent, I was funny, and for all intent and purposes, people looking in thought I had the ideal life at one point, but they did not know the hell that I was going through behind the scenes. And so I share my story to empower those who are hiding behind masks, because society judges, society labels, society ostracizes. And we have to get to a point where we step up and we share our stories that can bring deliverance, that can bring guidance. Some people feel that their stories are either not important enough to share, or they may still be too embarrassed to share. And I was that person at one time. I felt as though, I could not say this to another person without feeling sick to my stomach. But I ultimately took that power back. And so now when I speak about my story, I speak as a champion for those who feel they have no voice. I speak to encourage my children. I have 3 children, they're adults. I have 2 daughters and I have a son. And so I wanted them to see what restoration truly looked like. I wanted them to see what resilience looked like. I wanted them to see what it was like to persevere, even though things appear to be stacked against you. And so for me, that's what I contribute to this project, letting people know that there is life after turmoil, and you do not have to hide behind the different masks that we choose to appear to be put together.
All right. Before you jump in there, Dr. Angie, that was going to be one of my next questions, but I don't know, she all up in his head or matter what, because she just kind of tap dance on my thoughts and then just brought my saying right on out. Because that was my question I wanted to ask all ladies, because some women are still in fear of telling their stories. And again, we're embarrassed. But I wanted to know, how do you speak to her? How would you speak to her? And I wanted to hear, we heard from Alicia, but I wanted to hear from the other ladies. How do you speak to her who's still trying to figure out, you know what? I know I have something, but I'm just not quite comfortable. But I need to come out of that, unveil that mask. I need to peel back these layers. And I'm looking at your confidence. What can you give her? And maybe 2 to 3 sentences. What can you give her who's on the line saying, I'm in this fear right now, but I need help, and I'm looking at you. So what can you tell her? And I guess we just at random, Dr. Angie, we can call whoever's look like Carolyn smiling. She ready to answer that. Come on, Carolyn. She ready. She done sent it to me.
Well, since you called me out, but and that's what Women of Conversation does with the women. They come to us and they have broken stories. They have broken, they've been abused. They've been told things that they're not going to amount to certain things. They've been scarred. And so with that, we, try to teach them what the word says about you. And so that's how we began to heal. Because even though in my past, you have said these things about me, I've been felt degraded, I've been said these things to, but I can bounce back because what God says to me is what matters. And so that's how we began to come out. And not only that, the word, but to encourage one another, to embrace one another, that where you are now, somebody else has the same story. And so when women began to share this story with others, then somebody else, it's a light bulb that goes off and say, hey, I can make it because she did. I can come out because she did, and so that's what that encouragement and that rising joy was for me. That even though you were in a place where you thought was all fairy tale and everything, and though it didn't happen that way, and you're in that dark place, you can still rise again. When God gives you joy, that's something that nobody can take away from you. And so that's what I try to, instill in the ladies.
Amen. Amen. That's awesome. And it is so true. So many of us have a story to tell, but I want us to find some peace and joy in the fact that from our pain, very often our purpose is born. So with our pain comes our passion and our purpose. And it is the thing that resonates with those who are watching us when we don't know that they're watching us. So that's why it's so important that we live our life to the fullest, so that we are able to just be authentic. And I'll tell you, that whole transparency that you just spoke of, that was a concept for me that I really struggled with. That's my business. I didn't want people knowing my business. And I tell you, as I mentioned before, I've become much more seasoned, much more mature, and I realized that it is not about me. It's about me sharing my experience, because my experience will help somebody, because all of us have been at a time and place in our lives where we felt like we were the only one. Can someone speak to that real quick?
I would say, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Charlotte.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll speak on that. Dr. Silver Spoon is about addiction. Raising a daughter with an addictive father that chose to get addicted to cocaine, got out the military at the age of 9. I feel by myself, but I didn't know anything about addiction. So I guess you can say I was naive, and that's on my chapter, Silver Spoon. When you come from a sheltered life, like a sheltered environment, and then you step into a journey that you have no idea what addiction means, all the above. When I was told I need help, I said, stop using. I don't know what an addict is, but I tell you, my journey showed me what it did. And my basic strength was this: I'm either going to rise or I'm going to fall. You have 2 children to take care of. They may not understand, but I had to go into the survival of I'm no better than anyone else. As I told these ladies we talked before, when I used to see the young ladies waiting to catch the bus with their children with no ride, I would say to myself driving back, oh, I felt sorry for them, but I became them women. I became one of them women. I was told on that journey, said, let me show you what this is about. Let me take your journey and take that spoon out your mouth so you can understand what the real world is about. As you read on the chapters, I took the journey, I came through, I made a decision. My daughter is now 31, my son is 36. They don't have any scars noticeable that we have not handled, but love, unconditional love, was my survival point with both I went through. Thank you.
Awesome. That's really good stuff. So I want to ask the question, if you had it to do all over again, what would you do differently as a mother? And I want that to be whoever wants to take the bait.
Well, I guess since I'm muted, I'll jump in. What I would do different as a mother is educate. I should have educated my children more. You shelter just like I was sheltered. I sheltered them from the pain and all that. Well, it wasn't their fault. I mean, it wasn't nothing for them to own up to. You can't be responsible for somebody else's behavior. So I would say what I would have done different was maybe educate them better on what our job is about with addiction. That's what I would have done better and differently. Thank you.
Awesome. Does anyone else want to respond to that?
I'll respond.
Go ahead.
So I believe what I would have done differently if I had to do it over, I would have leaned in more into my community because I felt ashamed and embarrassed. So I didn't want to talk to anybody. So it was a very lonely place and a lonely time. And because I was not reaching out to other people, I started to become bitter towards people because I felt they didn't understand. But it wasn't that they didn't understand, they didn't know. So I have to open my mouth if I am in need of some assistance, or else they're not going to know how to help me. So if I had to do it again, I would have leaned in more to my community and to my family to allow them to show me love in ways that I felt I was missing it.
Wow, that's good stuff there too. That's awesome. I just want you to understand that what you just said will breathe life into many. So thank you for sharing that. It's so important because it does take a village to raise a child. And it also takes a village to raise a mother. Because I'll tell you, we don't have all the answers. When we birthed that baby, a manual didn't come out with the baby. So we have to learn from one another, lean on one another, get to know what works with some children and what doesn't work with other children. Because when you have multiple children, you can't have the same approach with every one of those children. It's going to be different. I have 4 daughters, and they range in the age of 25 all the way down to 9. And I have to respond to each one differently. I have to have a different approach with each one in order to get the best version of them, because that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal as a mother is to produce a child that becomes a young adult that is self-sufficient, happy, healthy, whole, and free. And the best way we can do that is by leaning on our sisters, leaning on our mothers, our elders, our grandparents, our cousins, anyone who has had that experience, our friends. Let's lean on them and find out what they can do to help us. But they can only help us if we're willing to talk about it. Anyone want to jump in?
I do, Dr. Gray, because you tapped into several things, uh, like Sheikah was just saying about Alicia being, in her head. I think you were probably like in the vision and dreams and the mission and everything. One thing you talked about was being authentic, and that's one thing that is truly very important for me. And I speak of it actually in my bio. And I talked about, I desire to see others walk in their full potential, and in all areas of their life, no matter what it is, no matter whether it's spiritual, physical, financial. But I encourage and promote others to develop their authentic self, because that's the only way that we will walk in that purpose that was predestined for us from the beginning. Otherwise, we would never be able to achieve and accomplish what God has set before us. And each of us had that set before us. And then secondly, I think someone mentioned about story. All of us, and I have said that, and I believe I said that to most of the ladies that I spoke to about, joining me on this journey, is that all of us have a story, but all of us are not ready to tell that story. And in the process of us telling the story, and that was one of the things that was in my heart, I believe that these stories will be a balm that heal others. That was from the beginning. And every person that I have spoken to, or every one of these ladies have mentioned that their family and friends and whomever, they talk about that very thing. They talk about how people are saying like, oh, this is awesome, how it provided healing for them, because the healing starts within us. And then you mentioned also about being healed and how our pain birth purpose. But I mentioned also in the forward about wounded healer. And I love that concept. That concept just is so near and dear to my heart because I understand it. But I talk about, because it was first introduced, I believe, by Carl Jung, and then was developed by, what's her name, Marion, I believe, O'Hare. And she was a nurse, and she talked about the nurse being a wounded healer, and talking about the effective or ineffective coping strategies and how the trauma and the different things that we go through, when we consciously recognize the pain, we can be transformed and transcend it into healing. So that is a phenomenal process, because as it leads to healing, it leads to healing despite the scars. Even in our trauma, we're going to have scars. But even with the scars, we still are healed. As I was playing softball one summer when I was young, still have that scar on my knee, but it has yet healed. So that's what I say, and I'm telling you that's very good. I'm telling you that each one of us has the ability, even with the scars and the trauma and everything that we've gone through, we have the ability to heal. And then lastly, you mentioned about the village. That's the concept of Mothers and Daughters, the group. That's one of the statements I say. I say we, that's the tagline. we are the village. And that was part of the reason for actually, starting a group so we can support, inspire, and encourage each other on this journey and be a community, like Anita said, a community that you can lean on, that you're not alone and you have someone there to support you.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was a lot of good, good, good stuff. And I want us to realize, if we don't take anything else from this, those scars that we have are badges of honor. They are badges of honor because they show us what we have made it through. They remind us, they are reflections of what we have made it through. And see, we all go through some things, but what we have to remember is we get over on the other side. And when we do get over on the other side, we have to turn around and tell somebody who's still going through and help them move forward so that they too can get on the other side. And I believe I have not had the opportunity to read this book, but I cannot wait to read it because I believe it's going to pull me across some finish lines myself. And I know it's going to do the same for anyone who takes advantage of the wealth of wisdom and knowledge that you all bring to it, and perspective, because so many of us deal with things, we go through things, but what we must do, we must move from that trauma to triumph, because when we are triumphant, God is triumphant. He will do everything in his power to make sure that you are healed, so that you, as the wounded healer, can bring somebody with you and help them heal. That's our job. That's our responsibility. That's what purpose is all about. Purpose comes, as I said before, from our pain, our passion, and our perspective. So let's bring our perspectives to the world, to the universe, because those perspectives capture somebody. Not everybody can tell your story. Only you can tell your story. So thank you for sharing your story with us. All right. Anyone else want to jump in?
Hey, this is Alicia. One thing I'll say to the question, if I had the opportunity to do it over again, um, it would be the decision to value myself as worthy. And the reason I say that is because when we know our value and when we believe in our value, we teach people how to treat us as such. My mother used to always say that you teach people how to treat you, so be a good teacher. And when you devalue yourself, you're teaching people that it's okay to do the same. And so for me, I would do differently is making different decisions, because I made decisions from a state of brokenness and I didn't realize it at the time. And so though that brokenness spilled over into how I raised my kids, how I interacted with my kids, who I allowed in my life. And so it wasn't until I became fully self-aware of who I was and what I had to bring to the table, and that it was valuable, that I could go back to my children and say, you know what, I'm sorry, because I made decisions out of brokenness, and I want that brokenness to stop with me. I don't want it to continue to my son, who's a Black man raising children and has a wife. I don't want it to continue to my oldest daughter, where she is, avoids relationships because she saw what her mother went through. I don't want it to continue to my youngest daughter, who is married and has a child of her own. So I have to be the one to break this generational curse, so that my children can then go forth and have fulfilling lives. So if I had anything to do over again, it would be to look in the mirror and say, you know what, girl, you are valuable. You have worth, and you need to be treated as such. And do not take anything less just because it's available.
Wow. I tell you what, you ladies are on fire. I am learning so much, and it's so valuable.
Yes.
Valuable, because I tell you, we beat ourselves up so much as women, because when we make a mistake, we want to carry it and we want to pick this up and pick this up. And next thing you know, we're all broken. We're all bent over carrying stuff that we should have let go long ago, because when he rose on that third day, he rose with all power so that we would not have to carry those burdens, that we would be able to say, I have all power. I am a piece of the master, because he is my heart. He is the one that I love. He has saved me. And more than anything else, he has redeemed me. And that redemption is the part that so often we forget. We have been redeemed because we all fall short. We all make mistakes. There's not one who hasn't made a mistake, but we must take those mistakes and make them the thing that makes us better. Use those mistakes as stepping stones. Anyone want to speak to that?
Hey, you know what? I got two things. I'm still talking. I got two things on that. One, I was listening to this morning the story of Abraham, right? Abraham is the father of what? You know, the father of religion, the father of everything. But he made mistakes. And it was pointed out, Pastor Simeon, y'all can go back to that, because it was a doggone good sermon. I'm talking about Joel was on fire today. Pastor Positivity was on fire today. Pastor Simeon Mochi from doggone the Brook was on fire today. And every dinner they were talking to me. So I said, okay, I receive it, because they was all up in my stuff. I said, okay, let me sit down. Let me sip me some water. Let me sit down for a minute, because of that, just said, when we make mistakes, we condemn ourselves, and then we think we can't get to the glory because we made a mistake. He ain't say that. If the father of religion, which is Abraham, made mistakes, and he still had an opportunity to have nations, because that's what he said, right? But yet he slept with who?
Come on now, Minister Mac. Come on, girl.
But yet he slept with his maid. But yet he still was a father of nations, because God didn't condemn him. We condemn ourselves. He already know we making mistakes. He already know this stuff. And I looked at it, I said, you know what? That's why we feel like we ain't worthy, because we done made a mistake. We done slept in the wrong bed. We done lay with the wrong, and we done woke up with a little bit of fleas, clip some things off, spray some little bit of, it'll go away. You know, go ahead and dust yourself off. You know, jump in that pool of Dawn liquid, because it'll get them fleas out of there. And you know what? And rise up, ladies, rise up, because guess what? We are amazing. We strong, we resilient, we powerful, we are redeemed, we are favored, and we are a masterpiece, because we are a piece of the master. And you know what? When that hit me today, I wanted to went around my own. I said, I mean, I'm in a holiness church. I ain't holding this now. Because it meant so much to me. And then when I come back and listen to you all talk, because of the fact that, yeah, I was one of the ones who didn't want to tell a whole lot of my story either. However, it's not about me. And I had to unveil to understand it ain't about you, Sheikah. It ain't about you. It's about her, about this one, about that one, because you got something. You got greatness. You got something that has to be shared with the world. And I don't, like Jackie know me, Dr. Angie know me now. I ain't the easy one. But this is what I want to get to you, because that was my first one about the, because I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go back and listen to it. I'm trying to tell y'all, when y'all need some whipping, turn on YouTube and just say, you know what, Lord, whatever it is for you, whatever it is for me to receive, please receive it here. And I go to YouTube because Joe Osteen is on there. See, when he whipping me, Joe be talking directly to me. Then he'll switch over to Dr. Darius Daniels, who will talk a little bit about them relationships and stuff like that. Then if he wanted, he say, okay, well, I want to get you a little bit deeper. So he'll move over to TD Jakes. But he don't move them people until I'm ready to move, because he hit me with what I got to get, right? So I want to say this. I struggle with understanding a servant's heart. So I want to ask all of you on this platform, mature ladies, because you wrote this coming from your heart. For one, you had to go back and look at something that may have been painful in your life Some of you went all the way back as 3 years old, Jackie, for memories, and brought it all the way up to now. So I want you to help me understand, what does it mean to have a servant's heart? And would you say this journey of writing Mothers and Daughters help you to prepare and teach to others what a servant's heart is? Do you consider yourself as having a servant's heart and a servant's perspective, like Dr. Angie said, to teach the world? Anybody can take that.
I'll speak on that because I was just thinking even today when I looked at Jesus when he was going to the cross, and Peter cut the soldier's ear off, and Jesus, in other words, was telling him that's not necessary, because see, when you realize what you have to do, and Jesus said, he said, I must do the works of him who have sent me. And so when that happened, Peter is trying to cut the journey short for Jesus or whatever. But the agony Jesus wanted to go through was because he wanted to feel every pain and everything that he knew that we were going to encounter one day. So he didn't want it to be easy in any kind of way. So I was just thinking, because those tribulations that came to him and the trials that came to Jesus, he took it on because it was necessary for him to excel to the right hand of the Father. The same way it is for us today. Even though we go through trials and tribulations, and Dr. Gray, I was just thinking about it, what will you do differently this time? Because so many times we stay in that pain and we think, oh my God, this hurt, we're embarrassing things. But learning that the trials and tribulation has come to do what? It comes to mature us. It has come to grow us up. And through that, you're going to get hope. You're going to get perseverance. You're going to gain purpose. And why I'm going through this, I had something that happened the other day, and I immediately stopped. And I said, God, for whatever reason you're allowing this to happen, let me see it. Whereas I couldn't talk to it then. Then I wanted to go somewhere in a corner and hide and whatever. But no, there's purpose in what we go through and what we have to endure. Because the maturity is going to come when I say, God, I accept where you have me at. God, I accept what is going on. But let me see what you want me to gain from this. And it's the same way having that servant heart. Jesus said, I did not come to be served, but I came to serve. Now, how are we going to serve? And unless we go through, my concept is coming from journeying from pain to praise. How am I going to get to praise? If I'm in my journey of hurt, I'm going to ultimately get to that journey of praise. Now, how am I going to get there? And this hurts so bad. I'm going to have to walk this thing out. And I'm going to have to realize that what God has meant for me, I got to step into it and I got to go on forward. Whereas before, I looked at that thing, that journey, Dr. Gray, this is too much for me. But now as we are seasoned and mature, okay, God, what do I need to learn from this? What is the purpose? And then, Lord, if you have brought it to me, give me strength that I may continue. I'm going on the journey, but you're going to have to help me in this. And that's what a servant heart is for me. Knowing that God knows best, and God, whatever it is, I'm going to go through it, but I can't do it without you.
All right.
Yes. I absolutely love that. And I tell you, this thing called life, this journey, it is a process. And in every single experience that we have, there's two things. One thing is our understanding of what happened so that we get a lesson from it, and then also recognize that there is a blessing. So every experience as part of our process has two things, a lesson and a blessing. So we have to make sure that we are looking for both, because so often we're not paying attention and it goes over our heads. And guess what? That test is coming back. You got to be ready to pass the test. And the way we pass the test is to glean those two things, the lesson and the blessing. So never ever forget that. And as I am looking at some of our comments, I just want to just take a moment out to acknowledge those who have joined us. And while I'm doing that, I would like one of you ladies to make sure that you get your book and hold it up to the camera so that we can see it, and make sure that you drop the link into the chat box so that people can find it on Amazon or wherever it may be. So Miss Esaveri says you will go through and it won't crush you. Yvonne says, thanks for ushering in the presence of freedom and heart of gratitude for authentic relationships, no matter what our journey is or was. All right, I like it. So then we have Ms. Hunkin is speaking to Ms. Pitt. She said, I am loving all of this so much and truly blessed to be here. So thank you. What she's saying, Ms. Pitt, is that she is blessed, and we are all feeling grateful because you have taken your story, and not just your story, but you gathered up other stories to make the puzzle complete. And it's never, ever going to be complete, but it will certainly have more value with the more stories that we share, because it will attract more people and it will bless more people. Miss Pitt says, absolutely, Pelly. Trials prepare us for a prosperous future. Yes, from pain to prayer. Love it, love it, love it.
I'm just in awe tonight. I'm just I was like chills. It was good. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm Charlotte. Let me sip on that.
So we have some really good comments, and one of the things that we like to do, we like to just simply acknowledge those who have joined us for the evening. I'm going to go ahead and do that right quick. I just want to make sure that I holler at Mr. Davis for joining us, and Dr. Gray for joining us, Donald Lee, thank you, and to Miss Pelly Hunkin, thank you. And also to Miss Esaveri, thank you. Miss Yvonne Murray, thank you.
Let's do a while you're doing it, Dr. Angie. Let's do a trivia. Let's somebody win a book. I have some coming.
Okay.
So we'll pick a number. We'll let one of the ladies pick a number. Let's see, Miss Alicia, pick a number. Hold it in your head, and we're gonna let the people in the chat box. Miss Alicia has a number 1 through 20. 1 through 20. So drop your numbers in. Let's see who's gonna win this book. And also, it'll be coming from me, Yashica B, the Eclectic Mindset Motivator. So let's see. We got we'll let it run for a little while. We're over our time a little bit, but this was truly a juicy conversation. And also in the comment box, if you guys, we have some numbers popping up, Miss Alicia. You can take a look and see if anybody has. You got quite a few popping up, and so if you can see if anybody has your number. So Miss Alicia knows the number. So we are picking a number 1 through 20 to win a book from Yashica B, and it will. I will try to get all the Columbia authors to sign it, and it'll be your copy. So then after the show was over, inbox us personally with your information, and we will definitely get it out to you. And if you have any questions, they're coming in. Oh my God, this is the first time it loaded that fast. Y'all must brought some heat with y'all. People, look how fast they coming. Good Lord. Please stop trying to give away too many books. Anybody won yet?
Yes, we do have a winner. It's Esaveri, the CEO. She got the magic number. It was 7.
Oh, it's 7. All right.
Awesome.
Now, Veronica Johnson was right behind her, but Esaveri got it first.
Who's that?
Veronica Johnson was right behind her.
All right. Esaveri, please drop your information, private message me, Yashica B, the Eclectic Mindset Motivator, your address, and we'll get that book out to you as soon as I get my copies in. They should be coming this week. If not, I'm going to go over to Jackie's house because I know hers are coming on Wednesday. And I will take one from her.
Awesome.
And we'll get it sent out to you.
Awesome, 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 awesome conversation, ladies. This is a conversation that needs to be continued. So I'm not sure how or when that's going to happen, but I know it is going to happen. We may bring maybe each one of you on individually at some point. We'll talk about it. We'll come up with a plan because each of you have a story that needs to be shared. Our stories are our bond. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm feeling a little bit grateful because this was so good. Let's give away one more. Let's do another number from 25 to 55. 25 to 55. And Miss Charlotte, pick a number. Let's see what we got. Come on, y'all. 25 to 55. Miss Charlotte's picking a number. Let's see who's gonna win. Y'all got it long. You better put them numbers in now. Get it. Oh, that's from the last one, right?
No, I was just putting her up there so she knows she can't go
She
again.
can't do it again. She can't do it again. Okay. Miss Allison say 33. Who's
picking this number?
Huh?
Who's
Miss Charlotte's picking this number?
Miss Charlotte's picking this number.
And
Okay,
this one's Charlotte again. This is Yashica B. Another book's coming out with. Oh, they're coming in. Look at Esaver. You won already, Esaver. Get your number out of there.
Yashica, I'm willing to give away a free book also. So
Oh, good.
All right.
All right. Let's see what we got here with Charlotte. Charlotte, what number you got? It's 25 to 55.
Somebody said whoever had the number 7. Somebody had number 7 was on my mind. Could you come back up?
Okay, with your number is 25 to 55. You got so they got to go in the higher number, 25 to 55. So pick one of those numbers and see who won.
How about 32?
32? Who was on there for 30? I see. I got to go to my phone and look because my computer won't let me scroll down. 32. I see a 30 for Veronica.
I see a 32.
You see a 32?
Oh, Sanji.
Sanji Wechter.
Sanji
Wechter.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay. Miss Wachter, please private message us on Conversations for the Soul so we will have your address so we can send you out a book within a week when they come in. Like I said, if I don't get them by Wednesday, I know who got some. And we will try to get as many authors locally as we can to sign your books for you. And thank you again for jumping on, for interacting with us. But we have one more because somebody felt groovy. So, all right, Onita, so what numbers do you want us to choose from? You want me to go?
So you had, was what, 25 to 50 the last time?
Mm-hmm.
So we can just do 51 to 75.
All right, numbers 51 to 75. Come on, y'all. Let's see who got it. No, Esaver, you cannot. And Miss Wachter, you cannot either. Don't even go up in there. Put your numbers in there. Let's see what's coming up on that. I see some numbers coming in. You see some? Do y'all see the numbers too in the comment section? Okay.
I see number 70, number 60, 75, 62, 75.
Miss Allison.
Miss
That's the number 67.
All right.
All right. Bridget Allison.
Okay.
Here we go. Good stuff.
Again, please drop your address and everything in the in the private messages, I'm trying to say, and let us know your address and all that good stuff so we can get the book out to you.
Awesome. This has been a phenomenal conversation. Thank you, ladies, so much for being willing to share your story, being willing to come forward and to just bring this wonderful, wonderful work to the forefront of our minds. We are grateful and appreciate it. I want to just take one more moment out to just thank everyone who joined us today in our chat box, everyone who will see us after the fact. Thank you so much for just your ongoing support. We appreciate you. We're grateful for you. And we thank you for what you were doing. Given the fact that Miss Yashica B, the Motivator, is one of the authors, I'm going to turn it over to her and allow her to close us out.
Well, I think I talked enough already. What y'all think? Anyway, I'm so grateful for everybody that came on. Thank you so much for the people who are in our chat box. Please like, share, because you heard it live, fresh tonight, but share it because somebody needs to hear it. Tomorrow, we had some awesome insight tonight that really and truly needs to be shared among the world. I feel like we made history. I'm seriously, that history was made with this anthology. History was made with the background. History was made with the just the love and the excitement, the nuggets that was dropped. That it is definitely not meant to be in a box. We have got to break those walls for that to go out into the world to teach the masses. And I honestly believe that when the call came last month for the women's to death, that there be a charge. I believe that was the charge on women. And I think that Jackie and the other 6 authors answered that, because we have a charge to keep. We have to get out there. We have to press. We have to push, because people are broken. People are hurting. People are going through things that was, whether it was history in the past, whether it's in the present, but we want to dictate. We want to kind of like design that future to be a better future for these mothers, for these daughters, for these families, and we can do that. We just need to talk a little bit more. We need to share a little bit more. And one thing I can say, as we go out into the week, like I always say, do something different today than you did yesterday. And if you are on this side of the dirt, tell somebody else differently that you love them. Reach out to somebody that you didn't reach out to yesterday. Try to talk to somebody that you didn't know. If you're passing by somebody in the store, smile at them. It's okay. That don't cost nothing to smile. Just smile and say, hello, how are you? Because we still humans, and humans need that interaction. Again, and I thank you all for joining in. And that's my challenge for you this week, to do something different if you're on this side of the dirt.
All right, I love it. And ladies, if you could just hold up your books one more time as we say goodbye.
Did we put it in the chat? Did we do it?
We did. I had it up on the screen for a minute as well. So thank you so much, ladies. This was an awesome experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please allow the kingdom to continue to use you. You are a blessing, and it is an honor and a privilege to get to know you. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you more by reading your story. Everyone, I just want to thank you once again for joining us, because Conversations for the Soul is simply just Yashica and I talking if we don't have you all joining in. So thank you for joining in and making our show a success. We appreciate you and we are grateful for you. Have a blessed and wonderful week. God bless you all. Ladies, if you would hang tight, I'm going to drop you down into the backstage so that we can continue this conversation briefly. Thank you so much. As we shut it down, I just want to say we had an awesome time and we love you. We appreciate you and we are grateful for you. God bless.